Whenever Jeff Brennan grips a tennis racket in his hands, most people can't help but stop and stare. Believe it or not, this 6'2" man is about to cram every inch of his broad frame right through the center of this racket. Jeff is a little more flexible than most.
For the most part, Jeff is pretty normal, but on occasion I've seen him put his arms back behind his head when he watches TV, and he does this weird thing with his legs, the ostrich walk.
Doctors say Jeff's flexibility is due to extra elasticity in the tendons and joints of his body. This human pretzel first realized he had a special talent when he was a kid.
It would have all started back when I was probably in 2nd or 3rd grade. I would put my arms behind my head in class to kind of rest my head back. And people would start to point at me, my fellow classmates. They'd make faces and say, what are you doing? And I'd be like, what?
Jeff limbers up. Then he's ready to start stuffing all 220 pounds of his body through a standard-sized tennis racket. It's a task with some inherent difficulties. After sliding his arms and skull through the webless frame, he begins the unsettling squeezing process. As expected, his shoulders immediately prove to be troublesome.
I have to make my top frame smaller enough to get through there. So yeah, I do have to kind of slide my shoulder out of place. Sometimes it pops.
The racket gets jammed as he tries to get his second arm through. It takes a couple of minutes, but this contortionist manages to wedge himself out of a very tight bind.
After that, it's not so bad until I get it down to my waist, which there's some obvious parts that are very sensitive down there that I need to deal with.
After some very delicate maneuvering, this Florida carpet layer amazingly slithers all the way through the racket. And while many disbelievers are convinced Jeff's act is a big racket, Jeff swears it's all real.
The best compliment you can get is a falling ovation, which in other words means someone passes out and faints because they can't take what they're seeing.